Hello everyone, this is Shilanand Hivrade. I have qualified 8 times CSI DG NET JRF along with ICR ASRB NET, Maharashtra SET and GATE. I was conducting NET set classes in Amravati district. More than 40 to 60 students get qualified through my class. Currently I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Botany at Vinayak Vigyan Mahavidyalaya Nandgaon Khandeshwar, district Amravati, Maharashtra. Today we are going to discuss about the topic. It is related with the plant tissue culture biotechnology, that is cryopreservation. So what is meant by cryopreservation first? It's a process of cooling and storage of cells, tissues or organs at very low temperature below freezing point up to minus 196 degrees Celsius to maintain the viability or the survivability. Looking forward toward the history, James Lovelock in 1953, he suggested that the damage to the red blood cells during the freezing was due to the osmotic pressure, that increasing the salt concentration in dehydrating cells might be damaged. In between 1950, he experimented with the cryopreservation of the rodents, determining that the hamsters could be frozen with 60% of water. The brain crystallized into ice with no adverse effect. Then in 1955, scientists had taken attempt for the short-term freezing of the body organs, and they have successfully done for 4 to 7 days. Lastly, Bedford is the only patient frozen before 1974. Still, the body is preserved today. So we need to store this material at very low temperature, but there is very risk to store at very low temperature, that is we call cryopreservation. So we are going to see the risks one by one. So cryopreservation can be cause damage to the cells during the cryopreservation, mainly occurs freezing stage, and it includes the solution effect, extracellular ice formation, dehydration and intracellular ice formation. So the first, that is solution effect. As ice crystal grows in freezing water, solution are excreted, causing them to become concentrated in the remaining liquid water. High concentration of some solute can be damage the cell. Another, that is extracellular ice formation. When the tissue are cooled slowly, water migrate out of the cell and ice forms in the extracellular space. Too much extracellular ice can cause the mechanical damage to the cell membrane, and it may chance to crush the cell. Another, that is dehydration. Migration of the water causing extracellular ice formation can also cause cellular dehydration, and the association stress of the cell can cause the damage to the plasma membrane of the cell. Next one, that is the extracellular ice formation. While some organisms tissue can tolerate some extracellular ice, any particular or appreciable extracellular ice is almost always fatal to the cells. So these all topic regarding to the risk while cryopreservation, but we can avoid this all by adding the cryoprotectant. So we are going to discuss about the cryoprotectant. Many of these effects can reduce by cryoprotectant. Once the freezer material has become frozen, it is relatively safe for the further damage. So cryopreservation must have the cryoprotectants in it. So number of cryoprotectants are there. Some of the cryoprotectants we are going to discuss here. So along with their advantages and disadvantages. So first is, that is PVP. So the main advantage is it maintains the ability of some types of the stem cells to differentiate the post freezing. But the disadvantage is what? The inferior cell viability composed to the intracellular cryoprotectants. It can affect the nucleus and the integrity of the cell. The another one is, that is what? It's a DMSO, that is dimethyl sulfonate. So the advantage is it provides a superior protection to the osmotic lysis. Then the disadvantage is what? It can be directly absorbed through the skin. That's why cytotoxin in some cells can be it can act as a cytotoxin for the number of cells. The third one is glycerols. So much less cytotoxic compared to these intracellular cryoprotectants. It will have the increased operating protection for the cell as compared to DMSO. So some disadvantages of the glycerol: greater osmotic lysis compared to the DMSO, must be removed prior to plating the cells. Somewhere we can say the glycerol is more comparatively based than DMSO, but particularly all people's working, or the number of people are working in the laboratory, they generally use the DMSO as a cryoprotectant for the number of cells. So there is one terminology, that is vitrification. So while cryoprotectant adding, vitrification must be done there. Vitrification, what is meant by vitrification then? Vitrification is the method in which not only the cells but also the whole solution is solidified without being crystallization. But it means it avoid the crystallization while solidification of the material when we decrease the temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. Next, now coming to the methods of storage, there are certain methods for the storage of material. So the first is, that is cryopreservation. Generally it involves the storage of liquid nitrogen. The material will involve so material can be stored in the liquid nitrogen up to minus 190 degrees Celsius. It is not only the process of storage, but also we can store in the cold storage. It involves the storage of non-freezing temperature or below the temperature. The another one is low pressure. It involves the partially reducing an atmospheric pressure of surrounding. Next, that is low oxygen storage. It involves the reducing of oxygen level and maintaining the pressure. It means that when we store the cells in the low oxygen level, so also it maintains the cell for long duration. So the very well and important freezing technique, that is the cryopreservation. So we are going to see the detail about the cryopreservation first. So cryopreservation can be done by the following processes: using solid carbon dioxide at minus 79 degrees Celsius. So we can use the cell to store at minus 79 degrees Celsius in the presence of solid carbon dioxide. It can also done by taking the material in deep freezer at minus 80 degrees Celsius. Another thing is that we can also put the medium at minus 150 degree. Basically that is a very particular temperature for the storage, but we need liquid nitrogen or other phase of nitrogen to store this material at minus 150 degrees Celsius. And the last one, and very important, we can store the material at minus 196 degrees Celsius, but the thing we need, that is the liquid nitrogen. Why we are using the liquid nitrogen and the temperature is minus 196 degrees Celsius? That is very important because the boiling point of liquid nitrogen is about minus 196 degrees Celsius. That's why we kept the temperature very low, up to minus 190 degrees Celsius when we use the liquid nitrogen for the storage. Now directly coming to the process, that can we say the mechanism of preservation. So the first process, that is the selection of material. So we can go one by one. There are certain 7 to 8, some people range up to 9 to 10 points for the process of cryopreservation. So we are dealing with only the 8 and very important topics, and important steps for the preservation process. So the first process is what? It's a selection of material. So in the selection of material, we can say any material we can select, like a cell, organ, tissue, and seeds, etc., etc. So that can be selected as a purpose for the storage, and we can also store the meristematic tissues or embryos, etc., etc. So any material can be put for the preservation, but for the preservation we need to add it with the cryoprotectants. When we lower the temperature below 0 degree Celsius, so there may chance of the formation of crystal. So the point we have covered already in the risk for the cryopreservation. So that's why it is must to add the cryoprotectant in this. The second step is addition of cryoprotectants. So these chemical components which are for the prevention of cryo destruction. By means of formation of the ice, the cell can be disturbed when the water becomes 0 degree, the temperature of the water becomes 0 degrees Celsius or lower than that. So it may chance to destruct the cell can be damaged or cell can break. So to avoid this, we can add the cryoprotectants. There are a number of sources of cryoprotectants which we have discussed about, but till we are taking a short view. The sources of alcohol, glycerol, some amino acid like proline, we can also add the proline for the as a cryoprotectant. DMSO, that is well known, and glycerols, etc. This can also we add for the preservation as a cryoprotectant. Generally, two cryoprotectants should be used together instead of using the single. They can be more effective. So instead giving or using one cryoprotectant, we can use two or more cryoprotectant together to have a more effect, to have the more result while preservation. The next phase is freezing. So while freezing the plant material, it is totally depend upon the sensitivity of the plant toward the low temperature. So the particular plant will freeze at the particular temperature. So there are three steps for the freezing. The first one is slow freezing method, another is rapid freezing method, next one is slow rapid freezing method, and last one is dry freezing method. So first one, that is slow freezing method. In the slow freezing method, the material is slowly frozen at slow cooling rate like refrigerator. This is the advantage for the species. The plant cell are particularly dehydrated and survive better. So another is rapid freezing technique. It involves the plunging of vials in the liquid nitrogen. The temperature decreases up to minus 300 degrees Celsius or above the 300 degrees Celsius rapidly. Another one is slow rapid freezing method. It's a combination of both the slow and rapid freezing method, in which first the cell or the material cool very slowly and then rapidly decreasing the temperature to store the species, but the process can carry out stepwise in manner. The last one is dry freeze method. In this method, the dehydrated seeds and the seeds like small and large kind of the seeds can be stored but keep in mind that it should be dehydrated because we are going to store as a dry freeze method. So next, the fourth step is storage. Storage after the freezing, we have to store the plant material at the particular place and the particular temperature. So it is also depend upon the sensitivity for the temperature of the plant species. So there are two types of the storage mechanism. That is, first one is the short-term storage and the long-term storage. So in the short-term storage, depend upon the species. Some species are responsible for what? So some species can be stored at a short-term storage because if we go for the long-term storage for the same species, ultimately that species may be damaged or that will not survive. So depend upon the temperature, so we can store for the short term. Again we have to do what? Again we have to do the same procedure. We have to put out the material, we have to do again the same process. It means we have to store for a short duration. If once the short duration completed, again we have to reculture the species or process the species again for the short duration. So we can do like this by means of short term storage, again short term storage, again short term storage, likewise. So we can also store the species for long time but not continuous in manner. We have to put it back, again we have to add in the further process. So second process of the storage is long term process. So in the long term process, we can say number of plant species are there which can be stored for the long duration. It can survive for the long duration, but we have to add the liquid nitrogen at minus 190 degrees Celsius for long term storage. So there are two kinds of the storage process. That is one short term process depending upon the species, and some species are reliable for what the long term storage. Now the thawing process, in this process it was the material which were kept at minus 190 degrees Celsius in the liquid nitrogen, but now we have to put back the material and we have to increase the temperature from 190 degrees Celsius up to the 0 degrees Celsius. For this we are doing the process that we call the thawing process. So for the same process we have to remove the material from 190 degrees Celsius. We can't directly add it 0 degrees Celsius, because we have to gradually increase the temperature. Next one, the washing and reculturing. After the thawing process, the material comes at 0 degrees Celsius or more than that, from minus 190 degrees Celsius. So washing is done for what? It is the purpose to remove the toxic cryoprotectant which were attached with or which were trapped with the material in storage. So the material then reculture on the fresh medium. Then what will happen? We have to check what the material will grow or not. Suppose we are going to store some spores of the plant, and by the process storage and etc., we will come to the washing, and if we wash the spore, and we have to check whether the spores are live or not, because it was kept in minus 96 degrees Celsius in the liquid nitrogen. So there is one measurement, the step number 7, that is measurement of viability, if the spores are viable or not. So there is the possibility to damage the cells when we kept in the long term. So because of the stress it may damage. So to elaborate the same process we can complete the following formula. So if we want to check the viability of the cells, so we can use the following formula: the number of cells divided by the number of thawed cells, and it can be divided into 100. So ultimately we have the viability percentage of the cells. So the last process is, that is the plant regeneration. So it was the historical turn in which the material we can kept on the particular medium, and it will grow, and depend upon the type of material and the depend their habitat, we can regenerate it very soon, very fast. So the last, that is the applications of the cryopreservation. So the first is, that is conservation of the material. So from this we can say that if we we can take a material, and we can number of materials we can take, and we can proceed it for the long term the conservation. So another, that is the conservation for the long time. It means certain species are there which we can't keep for the long term duration, because it may damage in the liquid nitrogen at minus 190 degrees Celsius. That's why we can made it or conserve it for the short duration. So that's why we have taken the another topic, another point, that is conservation for the long duration, because some species can preserve for the long duration. So the third one is, the seeds can be maintained for the long duration. Yes. So number of seeds which can we have to store for the long duration, so we can keep it under the minus 190 degrees Celsius. But with respect to the seeds can generally we can kept we are not kept the seed on that minus 190 degrees Celsius in the liquid nitrogen. We can keep the seed up to 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. So the seed can be viable for the long duration also. So we can also maintain the endangered species. Yes, the species which are going to endangered, which are going to loss from the nature, so we can store it for the long duration, and we can again reculture by this process. So again we can cultivate in the farm and etc. in the nature again. So another is, that is pollen also can be maintained to increase its longevity. So ultimately, the pollen grains can also be stored for the long duration to increase their viability, also to increase um, their survival property. So pollen grains can also be maintained for the long time. Another, that is real germplasm. Yes, that is germplasm. So number of cells, which can we say the gametic cells, we can store for the long duration. Uh, so as to make possible the genetic manipulation can be stored. So we can also maintain the germplasm, germ life, because if we are having the species which are going to be extinct, so we have to maintain their genetic makeup, so as to make possible that cells from the species we can store, and their cells, or we can say the genetic makeup, will be manipulated, or it can be stored for the long time. So it was all about the today's topic, that is cryopreservation. I have taken the references from the internet, and the references are given below. So it was all about this. So thank you very much.